Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the iRacing eSports Network and the World GT Championship. We are live tonight here, presented by Apex Racing TV at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, Interlagos in Brazil. Andrew Woodhouse alongside Sam Kumar on cameras and Adam Bath in the commentary box. And Adam, well, tell you what, this is going to be a great one. Interlagos, it never disappoints.
No, it doesn't, especially in these GT3 cars, which you've seen in the past. They're in their first season back after a while, and yeah, we've got 3 20-minute sprint races to come up for us. We've had a week off, and now we've got the new builds. No damage model for these cars just yet, but nonetheless, I think we're still going to be treated to a good evening's action over here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tremendous. We've still got well over 40 cars here today. Lots of different manufacturers and nationalities represented. So we're going to get some great stuff with these GT3s. And looking in qualifying, well, you join us halfway through the session as the drivers trying to set the grid for the first race of the evening. And it's Oscar Mangan, the Irishman in the McLaren. You see him on the screen there, who currently leads the way. 131.63. Looking at the championship standings, well, Mark Fletcher leads the way for Texense Fitstyle Motorsport, 23 points clear of George McClay, and then it's Lewis Bibby, Pete Harron and Ben Palmer rounding out the top 5. Then in the Pro-Am category, you've got Mike Horder, then Mike Gray, Ethan Bass, John Roberts and Matt Bunn. And then in the Am category, you've got Craig Jones, Stephen Burke, and you've got Parrett, and then you've got Lars Van Rijn and Michael Blake in the Am category there. So 3 classes to keep an eye on tonight. And Adam, the battle is surely going to be fierce in all 3 of them.
Yeah, it is. It's something new that we've got for this season. Obviously, we are into our 4th race meeting now of it. We started off at Catalunya, then went to Bathurst for our first 90 for our first enduro, and then we were at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve 2 weeks ago. So we're now getting into the swing of things with this. If you're new as well, yeah, you can see at the top of the screen, green for Pro, yellow for Pro-Am, and orange for the Am. So it means that throughout the field there is something to fight for, which is great for the many participants that we've got tonight. It's not as big as what we've seen at the start of the season, but it is still a 40+ car grid, which makes it probably one of the strongest probably run leagues on the iRacing service. So yeah, the numbers are continuing to be great here as we look at Ash Beard here in the Year 1 racing car and his Mercedes coming to the line.
Yeah, season 7 of the World GT Championship then here. And Beard dudes, he comes across, he was 33rd, he's got to 30th, 133.77. Certainly time to find for him.
Of course, this is a interesting period of the iRacing season, really. This is where new cars or new tracks have come out, and of course license demotions or promotions. Even we aren't immune to that. I think tomorrow I'm going to be served up with a massive demotion from Class A to Class B.
Changes to the build as well. You know, differences in how the cars handle, how the tyres behave. Drivers have definitely had to get on top of that in the few short days really since the build change. And then there was a patch. Oh,
big drift there.
That's Chris Danes. That's a spin. So the BMW pushing hard out there. And that was in sort of way into Ferradura, Adam, I think.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, the bottom of the hill. Not sure if he was on a quick lap anyway, but nonetheless he gets going again. And right now he is positioned in 17th place. So he has got a bit of time to go on the final run and try and get himself up the order. Looking here, and the man who sits in 5th place and the highest of the Audis, and Barry Baird.
Yeah, Barry Baird had a decent season in season 6, the back end of 2019, and he was in the big BMW M8 then. It's a bit of a, it's still one of the larger cars that he's picked this time, the Audi. See, Ethan Bassett was 24th place. But what can Barry Baird do? A couple of green sectors on the way. What can he do across the line then here in Interlagos?
Oh, it does improve.
Oh, he does improve, yeah, he goes P3 there. So that's a great lap by Baird, slotting in just behind Palmer, ahead of Thompson.
It's quite remarkable, really, that this scan of Brazil was done around, what, 5 or 6 years ago? And quite a lot's changed since then. The final corner in particular, the flat-out left, just before you cross the timing line, is quite different in 2020 compared to what it is here. You don't have to duck into the pit lane entry like you do there anymore. And there is a lot more runoff area at the centre S, a lot less grass as well. It's all tarmac runoff area, but that makes it all the more challenging for these guys here today.
Yeah, they've changed a bit the pit exit, haven't they, as well? Of the last couple
so
of
narrow.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just driving this track before we came on air, actually, and I do love the circuit. Every time I come here, I'm reminded of why. It's got a great flow to it. You can really attack the corners. You've got a good setup on as well. It just feels so easy to drive and so rewarding that you can find time everywhere. And it really is a case, Adam, of slow in and fast out here more than on a lot of circuits actually on the calendar.
This is a great circuit for drivers that love flowing corners and having to modulate the throttle as well, because like Ferradura, for example, you're not going to be using the brake too much, and it's all about getting on the power as quick as you can on the exit of that. And then of course you've got the slow, tight and twisty infield section where if you're brave enough you could potentially get an overtaking move done. So these are all the reasons why we do love coming here. And looking at Ross McFarlane going through the Curva de Sol now and onto the Retta Apposta, this is another intriguing part of the circuit where the two Ferraris collided as well in the F1 season last season, which starts this weekend too.
Yeah, that'll be exciting, of course. Everyone's looking forward to that. George McClay, who's second in the championship, has just gone up into 16th place, so doesn't look like he's got the scintillating pace tonight. But you know, there's a long way to go. Qualifying, of course, is just part of the big puzzle of the week of a race meeting in the World GTs. Niall Crowder, a couple of personal best sectors coming across. Does he improve from 36th place? He improves the time, it doesn't improve the position. Carl Jacquelet with a fast 4th sector as well. Can he take the Year 1 racing car higher up the field? He crosses. He was 22nd. And he stays 20. Oh, car rolling, car flying at the centre S's. I don't know if that's somebody made a mistake or whether that's whether that was somebody after the fact with a sort of messing about a little bit after the checkered flag, but car flying through the air.
Well, here's a replay. Now this is at Bico de Pato. This is Adam Hedgecock in the boosted Sim Sport car. Oh, now that would have been a massive shame if he was on a hot lap. He just dipped 2 wheels into the grass on the outside, and that was enough to send him on a half spin into the infield there.
So easy to do around here as well. One of the reasons that I think this track is fantastic as well is it's got natural elevation changes, which a lot of the circuits don't tend to have these days, but also all manner of corner type as well. You've got slow hairpins, you've got fast constant radius corners, you've got uphill, downhill, chicanes, everything to test the cars and test the drivers. Christian Rose, 3 personal best sectors. Can he improve from P6? 4/10 off he was. Oh, and he was very close there to pole. The second 1 just over 1.5 tenths off of Oscar Mangan's time. Christian Rose there with a great qualifying lap. That's one of his best.
He was picking up a fantastic toe off the McLaren that was in front of him then. We were on board with him as well. The sound of that Audi is quite something that we haven't heard enough of in recent times. And yeah, Christian Rose, he's going to be delighted with that. He's only 1/10 away, as you said, from Oscar Mangan, which is no mean feat at all. He's managed to split the 2 Mercs at the top too. Sorry, McLaren's at the top too.
Yeah, one of the few Audis in the championship actually, Christian Rose. Just 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, well, just 4 in the top 37 places in the championship at the moment. So
yeah,
it's definitely seen more time at the lower reaches of the championship. That's for sure at the moment. But Oscar Mangan is going to be celebrating then the Irishman on pole position. for the first round here at Interlagos. The grid is going to be on your screen any second now. And here it is.
Scaramanga then starts on pole position, the Irishman on the pole. And it's Christian Rose in second, Ben Palmer third, and then Barry Baird just a couple of hundredths away in fourth. Josh Thompson from the Isle of Man starting in fifth, 4,000ths of a second behind him, Pete Harrod completing row 3. Then Ross McFarlane and the first of the Pro-Ams in Simon Underhill. Michael Evdoka starting in 9th and Lewis Bibby completing the top 10. Andy Shield, car 007 in P11, and then Miguel Freitas, the Portuguese, completing row 6. 13th on the grid is Rich Warmingham, then Matt Bunn, Mark Fletcher, then George McClay in his Renvale Fitzstein Motorsports Merc. Adam Hedgecock in 17th, we saw his late error. Then Chris Daines, Nick Madsen, and Mike Horder completing the top 20. Charles Dracos in the Audi in 21st, then Carl Jacquelet in 22nd. Ethan Bass, 23rd, 24th for Michael Blake in the Team Mad car. Few of the AM category cars you can see there now in the orange. Then it's Simon Fields, Mike Gray, Ben Gregory in 27th, Mark Woodhouse, Dan Macaulay in 29th. Good to see him in a World GT race. I think I've actually seen him since the 24-hour karting race we did last year. And Lars van Rijn starting in 30th. Then Ash Beard 31st, Steve Birkin 32nd, Dennis Melcher starting in P33, and then Matt Draycott 34th, Chris Coughlin in 35th, and then Niall Crofer 36th, 37th Jake Blackhall, the Aussie, John Aegis in 38th, then Fraser Smith, John Roberts in the Boosted Motorsports car, Craig Jones, Morgan Butler, and then at the back it is Kevin Boland, Dean Timms, Ellis Stevens, and then starting right at the back in 46th is Carl Hardy. I completely forgot we had a rolling start, so I could have taken a bit more time with that, but nonetheless.
You motored through there with just seconds to spare.
Yeah.
But it's seconds to spare before they start the half lap. That is the rolling start. It's always an interesting one here, isn't it? There's always the chance, Adam, that someone's going to try the big long hold-up play as such. Going very slowly around the last sector and absolutely booting it coming out of Yun Xiao. We're going to see that more potentially on if there's a safety car restart at all tonight. But we've seen a few people try it at the start, haven't we, on lap 1 over the years.
Oh, we even saw it in the F1 race last year. We saw cars trying to time it before going into Junkow, and then we saw cars that were trying to get going like seconds or a couple of meters before the start line. So it is a fine art around here, because you see the safety car disappear and then plant it, and then realise when you come around that blind left-hander, oh no, it's still there, as we've found out in a couple of series we've covered in the past. But here comes Oscar Mangan. That McLaren is looking pretty racy, even on the formation lap here, as we begin the climb up to get this race underway.
Yeah, this series, of course, sponsored by Pure Sim. It's a very important time for the drivers at the moment, just trying to get some heat into the tyres, warm the brakes as well, because you're going to need them, that's for sure. 2 big stops, the first 4 corners here at Interlagos, into Senares and into Desida de Lago at the end of the Retroposta. So Simon Field has stopped on the track. We'll keep up to date and see whether he gets going again. I might have spun, and that's not going to help him, but here we go. Oscar Mangan brings us to the green. Round 8 of the Season 7 of the World GT Championship underway. Great start for Mangan then. Really solid. Former World Championship driver, Oscar Mangan. Now, Palmer in second, Christian Rose in third. Fourth is Barry Baird, and it's Josh Thompson in fifth. Always looking to make a move, the man for the Isle of Man. Pete Harrod in sixth. Oh, and that's quite close quarters then coming through there. Thompson having a look on the outside into Ferradura then, sorry.
Yeah, he is, and on cold tyres, that's probably not too ideal, because look at that, that's Pete Harrod that's going to go the inside into the tight and twisty infield section. And the McLaren,
it's got a lot more grip. He's going to have to try and pinch. Oh, he tried to pinch Thompson down, didn't he? Couldn't quite do it through Larangina. Oh, there's a spinner. That's Jacquelet, I think. Carl Jacquelet for Year 1 Racing is around. Oh, there's another spin as well. Quite sure who that was. Oh, and the ball crashing through Magullo. Here we go then, Mangan across the line. Start lap 2, ahead of Palmer. On a good gap. On a second. Look how much the field's strung out now, Adam, because of the incidents.
Yeah, because after Oscar McFarlane, there's already just over half a second gap between he and Michael Evdoka, and then you can see at the back end of that shot one of the boosted cars, and then a small gap back to the Audi. It is still, though, pretty much all line astern as they descend back down the hill, and plenty of opportunity to get the slipstreaming game going here as we look here at Mike Horder in the boosted car, currently chasing Chris Daines in P17.
Oh yeah, certainly Horder is in a strong position in the championship at the moment.
And behind Warmingham, George McClay looking pretty strong too, going into Big Ed Pato. Car off, it's Chris Daines, the BMW off at the in the infield just before Pico de Pato. He does get going again, but now he's only 26th. That's 8 places lower from where he started as we check back in with Simon Underhill, who's got to... Oh, car off. Oh, no, that better not be Josh Thompson. It is. We were just talking about him. And the BMW is spinning at John Cow here. So that's race 1 down the pan. He'll be hoping to get a strong enough reverse grid for race 2 as the Ferrari and the BMW go into battle now.
Yeah, indeed. And Thompson, well, he doesn't seem to have a lot of luck at times, unfortunately, and yeah, it seems to continue here today.
Through Curva de Sol then, that's Miguel Freitas in the Ferrari. Not too many of them you see in the field. I think they're even more sparse than the Audis, and the BMW is coming back up the inside here. That is Rich Warmingham. Sorry, it's Matt Bunn actually. Yeah, Bunn through. There's Rich Warmingham with the black and silver colours on his XVR Sim Racing car, and this is a bit of a tasty scrap really, because behind him you've then got McClay and Mark Fletcher as well, who's currently doing pretty well in the championship standings as we go back into the infield. And now the Ferrari of Freitas gets up the inside and has managed to get back ahead of Matt Bunn. I don't think Matt Bunn will be worrying about that too much. He's currently sitting in second in the Pro-Am category.
Yeah, not really. I don't think he's going to be too fussed about that, Matt Dunn. His battle is not really with Miguel Freitas, with the other drivers in his category, of course.
Into John Cowan, back up the hill we go. Warmingham got an alright run, but he's got the power and pace of that Mercedes-Benz right behind him. Plus he's got a decent toe as well, has Richard Warmingham, or Fletcher I should say.
Yeah, he does, and you can see him closing in. And oh, Bargy to centre S's.
Looks like Fletcher's got the move done though. And now it could be the case of Mike Horder, the Welshman, getting back through as well into Interlagos. It looks like he's not got too much to work. He's got a cutback on the exit here.
Yes.
The descent.
He does, and he's alongside the BMW now, coming up towards Ferradura. There's nothing he can do about that this time, but yet again it's close as the sun fights through the clouds here in Sao Paulo. Horder pushing hard here, try and get by Warmingham. He's third in his category, Adam, and that's good points, of course.
Definitely, and of course with the free classes this season, that means more points on offer for these guys, of course, because they're now split between 2 other classes as opposed to just the one. And Horder gets another good run on the exit of Juncal. The BMW, for all its might within the tight and twisty stuff, even though it has had a bit of performance added to it in recent times, it's still probably one of the weakest in a straight line, and I think we're about to find out because here comes Horder. Is he going to pull out to the inside going into the Senna S? It looks like it.
Here he goes then. He just about gets the overlap. He dives down the inside. Can he get it stopped? He can beautifully. Ah, that's a lovely move there by Mike Horder. And look at that, already pulling away after 3 corners. So Horder is going to be off after Mark Fletcher next. See if he can make any headway.
He's had a solid race so far as Mike, 5 places gained. Here is Ethan Bass going
look at that.
into battle. Yeah. Now that was with Chaz Draycott in the blue and white Audi.
He cut that close, Ethan Bass, didn't he? But he managed to get it done on Chaz Draycott. Chaz going well in the middle of the field. I think he'll be happy with that.
Gains 1 place inside the top 20. Of course, in these sprint races, we have the reverse grid to factor into the occasion as well.
Oh, off goes Bass. There he goes. Ethan Bass into the wall.
Now, fortunately, he missed that Armco barrier and he hit the tyre barrier instead, which would have done a lot less damage.
He's bent the wing though. And can he get it back on in good time? Not really. Who knows what damage he's got there. Hopefully he didn't hit the suspension. This is a battle into turn 1 then. Baird defending hard from Pete Harrod now. I know if it's the other way around, isn't it? It's Harrod defending from Baird. And Ross
Great battle this.
Look at him in the Mercedes.
Here he comes. Oh, the Audi almost didn't know he was there, Baird, and then McFarlane springs onto the scene and he very nearly gets through. They're going to be wheel to wheel again through Decido de Largo and nearly results in contact.
Yeah, I'd look up the inside there, Ross McFarlane. Couldn't quite get through. He's flashing the lights at Baird now, trying to distract him. I think Baird's done enough races that he's not going to be too bothered about that. Scotsman is very good indeed. We'll see what he can do in terms of an overtake. Do this tight, twisty infield section then. Into Nico Di Pato. So Pinarino, that is. And into Yunshao. Final corner, really important that they get this right. Something happened to Michael Blake. I think he's dropping down the order of it.
Oh no, well he's on my graphics anyway. He's in 23rd, but that might be a bit out of date. That'd be a shame for him if something's gone wrong. There is Michael Blake.
He was a little bit higher up, I think.
He's in 23rd at the moment. He's got his teammate for company as well in Mark Woodhouse.
So Mangan still leads from Palmer, and it's Rose. Woodhouse having a little look into turn 1. I'll tell you something though, Adam, Ben Palmer's not giving up on this, you know, he's only second behind.
Indeed he is, yeah, he's doing a pretty decent job as Palmer, and he's lapping pretty decent times as well compared to Oscar Mangan at the front. Last time around there's only a couple of hundredths or a couple of thousandths in it between the two of them. And the two McLarens are forging a path ahead at the front. Palmer was able to get past Christian Rose early on, and since then it's been a McLaren 1-2. I don't know, it's going to be a tall order for it to be a McLaren 1-2-3. Pete Harrod's around 2 seconds behind the Audi that's currently sat in 3rd. There you go, we check in with the leading duo.
Yeah, McLaren 1-2 isn't something we've heard for quite a while in
certainly not.
In many forms of motorsport, but hopefully we will, never know, we'll see that in the future, but we're definitely getting it today. Oscar Mangan just out of the slipstream range, well, the good slipstream range anyway. Palmer might be getting a slight benefit down the straights, but it's going to be minute. It's a good battle, very, very good battle. Two guys with a lot of experience. Palmer with, of course, a lot of experience in real-life motorsport as well. And he's trying to hunt down Mangan with every fibre of his being here in the first round of the day here in the World GT Championship. There's the track conditions. 23 degrees is the air temperature, 28 degrees the track temperature, so it's not too hot on the asphalt. Means the tyres are going to be in good nick. I mean, they're going to be in these GT cars anyway. They don't tend to work the tyres that hard over this short distance.
Like the McLaren, the GT3 car in itself is probably the oldest one sat on the grid. If you discount Dennis Melchert's Ford GT, these things have been around for ages. And speaking of which, there is Dennis Melchert's Ford GT. He's currently in 9th place in class.
He's fired up the steam engine in that, and he's doing quite well. Is the German? Oh, off goes Warmingham.
Oh, that's where we saw. Oh, more cars off. That's Matt Bunn.
Matt Bunn as well. So.
And there's an Audi off. That must be Adam Hedgecock. It is.
Wow, I wonder if that's all part of the same accident. Dropping down the order there, Hedgecock with the bent wing there on that Audi. And he's going to retire the car, I think. I think he's got broken steering. Oh, off goes Melcher! Dennis Melcher off in the background, but we can see here what happened. So I think, is Bunn going to spin? Oh, it's two separate ones. So those three cars get taken out, and then Matt Bunn, I don't know if he went around on his own or whether he got taken out, but yeah, Hedgecock and then coming round the corner a bit later on, as Hedgecock tries to limp this back to the pits. I don't think he's going to make it back to the pits, to be honest. Not very easily. Dennis Melcher had a spin at Mugulo as well. So the Ford leading him a merry dance.
Oh, and off is Ethan Bass. Now, he was having a good run up until now, and he's off on the exit of the Centre S. So
you don't see many people off there, do you, really?
Doesn't look like it's pointing in all four directions there, does it?
Maybe it's pointing in 4 different directions, and that might be the problem.
Oh, here we go, side by side. Now, this is Blake versus Bunn. 2 BMWs going at it into Bico de Pato.
Yes. That's good stuff from Blake to stay ahead. Steve Burke having a look now. Another driver in the AM category. Bunn is a Pro-Am. Blake and Burke in the AM category. Then it's Woodhouse the Pro-Am and Danes the Pro. So Dane's spinning off in qualifying, so I don't think he's quite going to measure this track at the moment, but see if he can make his way through the field. He's never shy about going for it overtake Chris Danes. Here comes Bunn down the inside then. Takes the place away from Michael Blake. So that's up to 18th place for Matthew Bunn.
Good move in the battle between Bunn, Blake and Burke. And this is an interesting squabble, really, because after those three, you've got Woodhouse and Danes that aren't too far away either.
Look in the background, the Ferrari.
Oh, yeah, he's on the grass.
And the Mercedes. The Ferrari is Madsen. The Mercedes is Gregory. And contact is made, and here comes Van Rijn. Van Rijn with a great run in the boosted car. Oh, and Madsen holds his ground in the middle. He's moving all over the shop.
Oh, into Ferradura at the bottom of the hill, and they're all struggling for grip there. Even in these 20-minute sprint races, it's becoming a bit of a struggle as we get towards the end of the race. They're understeering like mad there.
Yeah, Craig Jones is just behind them as well. He's done a good job. I don't know if there's an issue for Chris Danes actually up there. Woodhouse has been off the track for 10 seconds as well, according to the computer. I don't know if that's true, but I think they're a bit lower down than they were, Adam.
Hard for me to tell, but yeah.
Woodhouse and Danes, I think they might have got involved with an incident. So here comes Madston then. It's going to go for a run on the outside of Ben Gregory. Again, the Dane in the Ferrari going for it. Gregory's going to try and defend here. He's going to try and be late on the brakes. Madsen all the way around the outside. So the Dane brings home the bacon on that one. Gets ahead of Gregory. Oh, but it's sideways though. Oh, oh, he's very close. He's Gregory. I don't really know. He needs to just pick a side. He's going into this Interlagos, trying to go up the inside. It's going to turn into the outside for Ferradura though, Adam, even if he does make it.
Brilliant scrap between these guys, and this is the power of the World GT Championship. These guys are fighting over. Oh, he's gone very wide as the Ferrari, and now here comes the Mercedes back up the inside. He's going to undo all that hard work that he's just done, and Madsen loses out to Gregory once again.
Oh, I thought he was going to try. He's going to try the old Steve Soper up the inside there into the following corner on the switchback. This is allowing a few different drivers to get involved in this as well. Van Rijn we've seen, Jones is there as well we've seen, and Woodhouse and Dane's not far behind either.
I think in that situation, Gregory was drawing a door rather than trying to use a door to get through. But he might not need one now. That's a door. It's round the outside goes. Round the outside goes the Ferrari, and I think he might just use pure straight line speed to get by before we even get to the first corner.
Here we go then. Oh, the Ferrari breezes past the Mercedes on the straight here, Interlagos. Gregory's late on the brakes though. These two are very close together. Madsen loses it. Oh, he spins. He got two tyres on the inside grass, and that was all it took for him to go around. And Woodhouse looks like he's got ahead of Jones. And Danes is following him.
Too long to go now, just under 2 minutes until this first race is history.
Yeah, we might only get one more lap here. I don't know where Oscar Mangan is. Oh no, I think he's gonna... No, I think we're gonna get another one.
Just make sure you have enough fuel in it to get to the end. I didn't when I was doing a week 13 race the other day.
I think we are going to get two more.
Yes, it's a 90-second lap, and and you know how it is on iRacing. If it's pretty close, they usually give you one more lap. So
yeah,
Oscar Manga right now is going to have to make sure that he's got enough fuel in the tank to last another 2 laps, as do the rest of the field.
He has grown the gap out to 2 seconds. Look at this 3 abreast here into the first corner. Look at Josh Thompson up the inside. That's lovely. On Mike Gray and Mike Horder. Mike check 1-2. He's relegated the 2 Mikes down a place each. Yeah, Thompson very quick, of course. One of the fastest drivers in the series, really.
Thompson,
now,
considering,
is he going to get? I think he's going to get one more lap in. It's going to be pretty close, though. I will say that.
Do you know what? I think it might be the checkered flag. You know, actually, no. I think one more lap. I reckon. Oh no, the checkered flag is at the ready.
Checkered flag. And timing is everything for Oscar Mangan. Comes across. He takes the win. First one of the day. Here at Interlagos, ahead of Ben Palmer. Christian Rose in 3rd. He turned that good qualifying into a great race, and a little bit of the bubbly to boot as well. Pete Harrod in 4th, Barry Baird in 5th. Then you've got McFarlane and Doka, Baby Shield and Underhill. It's quite a big field spread today. So they're trickling along rather than coming across in a big unit. Looking at Woodhouse. Still got Warmingham for company. Warmingham's got all sorts of damage on that car. Don't know if he'll be able to challenge Woodhouse up the hill. Doesn't look like he can. So Woodhouse is going to take 29th. So in the categories then, Simon Underhill took the Pro-Am category in 10th. And Michael Blake took the Am category in 19th. Dennis Melcher gets the Ford GT across the line. 34th position. The old girl is still going okay.
And if the reverse grid's in his favour, then you never know, we might get a full, or might get a Ford on the front of the grid. This is where, of course, we had it was a World GT Championship race, wasn't it? Where we had a tribute here for Dennis a couple of years ago now, in fact.
Yeah, for his dad Carl, whose name's on the car there as well. This is medical car on the side as well. It's not that slow, Dennis. It's not that slow. It is old though. When was that on the iRacing service? 2010 or something, was it?
Yeah, the Ford.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I think it was on there before I started iRacing, and I started in 2011. I think it was on there already. Still going along and being represented in this World GT Championship.
Results on your screen then. Oscar Mangan takes victory in the opening race of the day. Then it's Ben Palmer heading him home in second, just 2 seconds between them when the checkered flag fell. Christian Rose completes the podium after starting in second. Then it's Pete Harrod, Barry Baird, Ross McFarlane, and then Michael Evdoka, Lewis Bibby, Andy Shield, and Simon Underhill completing the top 10. And Underhill top Pro-Am as well. 11th, Miguel Freitas. Then Mark Fletcher in 12th, 13th for George McClay, 14th for Josh Thompson after that spin at Junkel. So a good fight back through the field from Josh there. Then Mike Gray, Mike Horder, his namesake, in 16th. Then Jake Blackhall 17th, 18th for Matt Bunn, P19 Michael Blake and Steve Burke in 20th. Ben Gregory 21st, 22nd for Lars van Rijn. Then Chris Daines for Brittech Simsport in 23rd. 24th for Simon Field, despite his spin on the warm-up lap. Ivory got a massive run on the exit of Junkel and was able to catch up, or he had a pretty solid drive. I'd say probably a bit of both. Chaz Draycott 25th, Craig Jones in 26th place, 27th for Nick Madsen, then Dan McCauley, Mark Woodhouse, Rich Warmingham completing the top 30 there. Then Kevin Boland, John Roberts, Morgan Butler, Dennis Melcher, we were just mentioning him there in his Ford. And then Niall Crofer, John Aegis, then Fraser Smith, Ethan Bass, Matt Draycott, Ash Beard in 40th, then Dean Timms, Adam Hedgecock, Carl Jacquelet, Chris Coughlin, and then the cars that didn't start the race in Carl Hardy and Ellis Stevens there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why they didn't start the race, but nevertheless, they did not. But yeah, that was a great first race. Really enjoyed that one. And we need to establish who's going to be on the pole for race 2 tonight. And to do that, we've got the reverse grid wheel. So over to Mr. Kumo, who's got that one ready for us.
Yep, that's right. The wheel's on your screen. And let's see who will be on the pole for the second race. It's going to be a big grid anyway, so I don't think it's going to be a huge reverse. And it will be 15.
15. So that's going to be Mike Gray then, who goes on to pole position. So very small reverse grid. Josh Thompson's going to be on the front row, and that's going to be a bit of a Christmas present for him. McClay, Fletcher, and Freitas make up a very, very fast top 5.
Yeah, that's going to be a pretty interesting grid at the start of the second race, that's for sure, with some of the big guys starting there. A bit unfortunate for the Pro-Am guys. Not many of them are going to be getting any advantage from that reverse grid, so they'll have to do their talking on the track in the second race.
Yeah, they will, and we'll see just how loud they can shout when we come back from the commercial break then here on the iRacing eSports Network as the World GT Championship carries on from Interlagos.
hits him again now. Rayon Fowler into the outside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Lee to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Trunkgate goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's Howling down to the inside.
I trying this contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Renner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schubert, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
Welcome back to the World GT Championship here on the iRacing eSports Network, brought to you by Pure Sim and presented by Apex Racing TV. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath and Sam Kumo bringing you all the action here from this brilliant circuit in the heart of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Adam, race one, well, that was a terrific battle. It was like it wasn't an amazing fight for the win in terms of wheel-to-wheel action, but it was just a 10th here, a 10th there between Oscar Mangan and Ben Palmer.
Really was. It was a battle of wits, really. I know there was a bit of a gap between the two of them when the checker flag came out, but once more mistaken, and the gap would have been wiped out in an instant. If you do make a mistake at this track, it does tend to punish you. So we've got that to watch out for in the second race, which is coming up now, and Mike Gray is starting on the pole position for it. We can run you through it now, in fact. Josh Thompson starting in P2, and then after that in P3, it's George McClay, 4th place, Mark Fletcher, 5th for Miguel Freitas in his Ferrari, 6th Simon Underhill, then Andy Shield, Lewis Bibby, Michael Evdoka, and then Ross McFarlane completing the top 10. 11th on the grid, Barry Baird. Then we've got the flurry of McLarens that were near the front in the first race. Pete Howard, Christian Rose in his Audi, and then the cars that finished 1 and 2 in race 1 in Ben Palmer and Oscar Mangan. Mike Horder starting in 16th, then Jake Blackhall, then it's Matt Bunn, Michael Blake in 19th, and 20th for Steve Burke. 21st, Ben Gregory, then it's Lars van Rijn in the boosted SimSport car. 23rd on the grid is Chris Daines, then it's Simon Field, Chaz Draycott, Craig Jones, Nick Madsen, Dan McCauley, Mark Woodhouse, then Rich Warmingham in 30th, 31st for Kevin Boland, 32nd John Roberts, and then Morgan Butler, Dennis Melcher there in Ford in 34th, 35th for Niall Crofer, John Aegis 36th, then Ethan Bastard got in 37th, Matt Draycott 38th, 39th, Ash Beard and 40th Dean Timms, Adam Hedgecock 41st, Chris Coughlin in 42nd, and then Carl Jacquelet in 43rd, and it looks like Fraser Smith hasn't taken the start for this one.
Chris Coughlin as well, 44th place for him, just on the back of the grid there. Not sure why if he wasn't showing up for you, but yeah, 44 pristine GT3 cars, Adam, and the challenge for the drivers, of course, is to get them to the end in one piece.
And the first obstacle they've got to get through to make sure they keep it in one piece is in the first few corners that we've got coming up now. They were all very well behaved at the start of race 1. Hopefully they can do the same here in race 2. It is a very, very quick front row in Mike Gray and Josh Thompson. Thompson, who went off at this very corner in race 1. See if he can get the trophy this time in race 2 as we're about to get this race underway.
Here we go then. The rolling start for 20 more minutes around Autodromo Carlos Pache. Pace car is in then. And any second now, they're going to go for the green. Here it comes. Mike Gray with a brilliant start. They're fanning out to 4 wide in the middle. Thompson's having to defend from Mark Fletcher, who's very quick. We know this. Currently leads the way in the Drivers' Championship. It's Mike Gray. Pulled out to 0.6 of a second. Fletcher right on Thompson. And Bibby right on Freitas. And look at that. That's the Audi of Underhill moving right across the front of the Ferrari. He can't prevent the pass into this Interlagos.
Frantic start that was. Josh Thompson's taken the lead though. Mike Gray is down to 2nd place, and Mark Fletcher could also take a position away from the BMW into Ferrager at the bottom of the hill. They're wheel to wheel through there. Will the BMW prevail, or will the Mercedes force it to yield? They're still going to go wheel to wheel though into the infield section.
Oh, Fletcher squirming around under braking as he tries to fly around the outside. He knows it's very crucial to try and get round Mike Gray and get on the back of Josh Thompson. He doesn't want to let Thompson get away. It's tough to pull back if he does. McClay's in 4th. He started well. Then the Scotsman in the Renvale Fitzstein Motorsport car. See him there in the Mercedes-Benz in 4th place. Then side by side through Magulo in the background. I think that might have been Michael Blake and Nick Madsen possibly. But going through there to complete lap 1. Josh Thompson leads the way by 1 second then over Mark Fletcher. Then it's Mike Gray, McClay and Freitas. 2 by 2 by 2 here.
Plenty of slipstreaming and plenty of wheel-to-wheel action at the end of the first lap.
Oh, somebody's... Oh, wow. How many times have we seen... How many times have we seen it, Adam? Someone losing it there, under braking, wiping out the car in front.
Oscar Mangan is a man on a charge. 3 places gained at the end of the opening lap. Ben Palmer getting forward as a boosted car off on the exit. Curva de Sol. That was Mike Horder, the Welshman, and he very nearly going into the side of the BMW of a bun that goes up the inside into Desira de Lago.
Well, there was a famous one there, of course, in turn 1 in the 2003 Brazilian Grand Prix, one of the best F1 races I think of all time, and where the car lost the suspension. I think it might have been Olivier Panis. Crashed into Ralph Furman in the Jordan, who was ahead of the eventual winner, Giancarlo Fisichella. So it is a trouble spot, turn 1. If people do lose the braking point, then they can't just go careering on like a missile. Instead of making an overtake, they end up making a mess of it. We're looking at Barry Baird and then Pete Harrod. Baird in 13th, Harrod in 14th. Oh, contact! Baird into the back of Michael Evdoka. Evdoka's paid a visit to the wall. Now, has he got fully functional steering in that Mercedes? Because he did clout the barrier. Looks okay.
Fortunately, it looked like a slow enough impact where he hasn't suffered too much. We'll soon find out the extent of it.
Well, here comes the boosted car on the move.
Madsen. Yeah.
Quite clock to the Mercedes was a little bit further. Oh, it's Mike Horder, isn't it, in the pink Mercedes? Not that one. There he is.
Thompson's already made a break for it at the front, 1.5 seconds over Mark Fletcher. As we look at this, nearly 3 wide going into Desira de Lago. There's an Audi trying to get at the inside. I think that was Christian Rose. As we look at Matt Draker.
Yeah, and Rose very sensible. Oh, crash! It's a crash in the background. Someone gone into the wall. I think it might be one of the SimSports Racing USA cars. It's a CQR car. It's Chris Coughlin.
And that is a big one. He must have hit one of the walls.
Up the inside was going Matt Draycott. He was having a look on Adam Hedgecock.
A little nudge there, the Lizard car. Now here comes Adam Hedgecock, you mentioned it, into Pico Tapato. This is where he went off in qualifying towards the late of it, towards the back end of it, and there's no way around the outside there. We've got 2 Year 1 cars driving for 2 different cars. We've got the Mercedes of Beard and the Ferrari of Carl Jacquelet going into Chunk out at the final corner.
Draycott stays ahead then. The other Draycott in the field, of course, Chaz. Where's he running at the moment, Adam?
Chaz Draycott doing okay. He's in 37th. He is a lap down.
So he's had an incident, it looks like, to start with. And roads up the inside of Bolland, then into turn 1. Kevin Bolland in the BMW, getting overtaken by CQR club car.
Back onto the Retro Aposta they go. A fantastic run from the Audi outside. It's such a good run that the Mercedes can't move across to block him. Now the question is, can he get it done around the outside? Can Hedgecock into Desira de Lago? It looks like he's going to be able to do it.
Good work by Adam Hedgecock. Apex TV commentator as well. Going round the outside and making a good move. And then 2 Year 1 cars on the scene now. That is Ash Beard in the Mercedes and Carl Jacquelet in the Ferrari.
Riding alongside Ash Beard as we go into
Has Mike Gray had an issue? No, I think he's alright, isn't he?
He's still in 3rd.
He was alright, yeah. Just the timing screwing going a bit.
Andy Scheel and Simon Underhill are very close. They've just exchanged positions on the timing screens anyway. As we come out of John Cow, Ash Beard, can he get a decent run? We've got the Lizard the Team Lizard Motorsport Mercedes right in front of us.
We're getting a nice slipstream.
Touches the grass a little bit there.
We're getting a great slipstream. Beard might be able to make a move here. No defence from Draycott. Up the inside goes Beard. That's a lovely clean pass there. It's about as nice and tidy as you can wish for. Here's Matt Bunn. He's trying to hold off Steve Burke then in the Mercedes. So the BMW amongst all the Mercedes-Benz here. Boyd goes a bit wide. Ferradura, might be a lunge here. Might be a lunge for Burke. Oh, he thought about it. Thompson's lead has increased then. It's 2.5 seconds now. It's flying away from Fletcher. Doesn't seem to have an answer for him.
It's very difficult to get a move done in quite a few of those corners just because the direction changes so quickly after it. You've got that at Longina and you've got it at Bico de Pato as well. But
yeah.
Exit Juncal, these three are all pretty close together. So Ben Gregory could line up Steve Burke here, and Burke also has got the run on the BMW, who doesn't have much in the way of slipstream help himself.
No, not really. And Gregory is going to try the outside here, but he sees that his path is blocked, but he still tries to sort of sidle his way around the outside. Can't quite do it, this time at least. It's a good scrap, this is, in the midfield positions. Burke again, this time into Interlagos, this time very late on the brakes. That's a lovely move. Got it stopped and then some, didn't he? He'll need to do that line every time, because it's gained him a lot of time, Steve Burke. Mike Hord has got away from this group, so 1.5 seconds for him. He's now 1 second behind Barry Baird. Arguably two top 6 cars there in terms of the base, Horder and Baird. They might be able to make their way up towards the top 15, towards the top 10, sorry, but that's the thing with the small reverse grid though, Adam, isn't it? Because it does mean that there's a certain ceiling almost for some of the midfield drivers, because the ones at the front are naturally the ones who were at the front in the first race. Yeah,
it hasn't really served its purpose, really, has it, in this one? But that's the point of it being a random draw. Now this is close. This is Ben Palmer versus Miguel Freitas. McLaren versus Ferrari. I don't think we're going to be seeing too much of that in F1 this season, but you never know. And that is Palmer through and up into 5th place. Fastest lap of the race on that previous lap by Oscar Mangan, a 1:32.109.
He is.
Yeah, that is 0.2 of a second quicker than Josh Thompson, who's leading the race at the moment. So Oscar's putting in the laps.
Disadvantage for Mangan, of course, is 7.5 seconds behind Thompson. But the overtaking could be fun to watch from Mangan as he's trying to get his way through. And here he comes. First potential victim is Simon Underhill, who's only second in the AM category in the Pro-Am category, sorry, at the moment. Mangan's, he's being very patient at the moment, Adam. He's just waiting for his opportunity to present itself.
Don't often get to see inside the McLaren MP4 12C GT3 cockpit, but here you go. Don't see too many steering wheels like that anymore, not at least in single-seaters. Now it's John Cowan. Got the Audi in front of him, which has got a decent run on the exit, to be fair. Did Underhill, who is the second highest Pro-Am driver in the field. Oh, there's a crash in front. Oh, I thought there was going to be a crash in front. It looked like they were going too wide.
That was very close, wasn't it? It looked like they slowed each other up a bit as well. But they definitely have. Is that Freitas and is that McClay? And Palmer, maybe, was it?
It might have been Graham Palmer. Yeah, I think you're right in that regard. They looked like they were going too wide through
Graham Palmer, maybe, yeah.
They were going too wide through the left-hander, and from that onboard, it looked like they were about to both spin off into the wall.
So there was if anybody was watching the F1 testing, the coverage last week and the week before, there was a theory as to why the steering wheel, why McLaren and Mercedes and a few other car companies, why they have that sort of bow tie shaped wheel instead of the full sort of spherical wheel. And they said originally, and also with they like to have the dashboard actually mounted in the car as opposed to on the wheel like a lot of teams have it. And they said because it's something to do with the actual wheel having inertia to it as well. So they said because it affects the weight of the steering wheel, it can actually create, it actually saves some, can actually gain some time in some respects apparently. So there you go.
Yeah, Williams are the only team not to have a dashboard on the actual wheel, I think, in 2020. It was my grade though.
So do McLaren have it on the wheel again, do they now?
I think they, unless they've changed it for 2020, here comes a McLaren, and it is Ben Palmer back into the podium positions. He was finished 4th in race 1. He's on his way to better that result here in race 2 here, as he now moves up in P3. Or did he finish 2nd in race 1?
Who's that, sorry?
Ben Palmer.
Yeah, he was P2, wasn't he?
P2, yeah. So he's
race 1. Freitas up the inside then of Andy Shield. Portuguese goes through into 6th place, so good work by Freitas. Nicely done. Josh Thompson just set the fastest sector 3. Ben Palmer just set the fastest sector 5, and of course sector 5 is the run to the line, so he'll have had the slipstream off of Fletcher.
I'm intrigued to see where Oscar Mangan's going to get this move done. He's really tried to line up the McLaren in front of him through one of the slowest corners on the circuit in Pico to Pato.
I think it might be
Peak, isn't it?
Blackhole, actually. I don't.
You're right. Yeah, you're right. He's off just before the corner I was mentioning.
Yeah. I don't know what's happened to Blackhole, but we may see that again shortly. Oscar Mangan's made his way past Shield as well. Shield may try and fight back here, but Mangan's strong on the brakes, and Fletcher continues to hold 2nd place, but for how long? Because Ben Palmer is on him in the Sim Sports Racing USA car. They were just side by side a moment before. And tell you what, Mike Gray lost the lead very quickly, Adam, but he's held on beautifully in 4th place.
I was just about to say, yeah, and it looks like he's not losing any time at all to the two in front of him. Not if they start squabbling like this. Anyway, as
he did win a race, didn't he? But was that this season or was that the back end of last season? He has won a race in this championship in these reverse grid races.
Oh, there was almost a gap there for Palmer.
First race meeting of the season, wasn't it?
Back in Catalonia.
Yeah.
Close up of the McLaren from the rear of Mark Fletcher. Hearing the baritone sounds of the Mercedes that we're on board with. Now back up the hill again, and got BMW leading Mercedes, leading McLaren, and then BMW, Mercedes, McLaren. It is very very pattern-esque here as we come across the line, and look at the speed of that McLaren. Look at it go.
Yeah, top end speed coming in for Palmer there. Just activated the party mode. Oh, spin! Andy Shields going down the order. He's gone off at the first corner. I'm braking for the centre S then. Shield. Oh, he's lost the rear. Has he broken the suspension? Oh, crash!
Oh no, that's the Welshman.
Order. I wonder if Shield broke the suspension, you know, because he could not stand straight whatsoever. Could not drive straight, sorry, when he came back on the track. .3.5 minutes to go then here at Interlagos. on lap 11 of the race here. Josh Thompson started on the front row. He got the lead on lap 1. He's not looked back at all. 7.5 seconds clear for him. Haven't really seen him a lot on the footage today, but I can assure you he is there in the Williams BMW. Look at this train of cars.
Oh, here we go then. And they're all benefiting from the slipstream off one another. We've got just under 3 minutes to go now. And let's see if the McLaren turns on the afterburners this time. It will be a tall order to get past the Ferrari. That must be said, because Ferrari is probably one of the biggest cars. Audi sending it into the first corner. Oh,
yeah, the Audi was sending it. The McLaren was sending it as well on the brakes. Ross McFarlane then on Underhill. Underhill's going to drift wide through Curva de Sol. It will give McFarlane an opportunity, although he is sensibly covering the inside here. It's hard to go around the outside at this Interlagos effectively. It's at the angle of the first part of the corner, really. That's the tough bit. And Underhill covers it off. May as well stay to the inside right on the white line, because as well you've got to be brave to go around the outside in Ferradura. And Underhill, I think if he just defends here, it's very difficult to get through, Adam, isn't it? If the driver in front is actively defending on this section.
it's almost one. It can almost be like one line around here most of the time. And as you can see, no one really making too many strides in terms of time gained, really.
Well, especially a bit later on in the race as well, when you've got a few marbles down on the outside as well. Maybe in race one early on you could go for that move there, but now it's just going to be a bit risky.
Tell you what, Ross McFarlane could be about to get past the Audi here. Underhill was very late on the brakes last time around into the centre S, which was how he was able to just about stay ahead of the Mercedes. Let's see if he follows the same trick this time into the first corner. Look how late he brakes, and he almost collides with the Mercedes.
Oh, great little block by Underhill, but he's going to run wide in 2. He's going to be slow through 3. This could be the opportunity that Ross McFarlane needs. Is he going to take it? Underhill's trying to cover. Oh, the overlap is there, but it's negligible. Oh, McFarlane there. He made the good decision, I think, to get out of it. Oh, spinner. It's McClay. George McClay was in... I was in 5th place.
Ah, it's a massive shame for him.
It's all gone away for McClay. Late in the day.
Simon Underhill is keeping Ross McFarlane at bay through the slow section.
It's very
and he's
good.
doing a good... Oh, no, off. That's Madsen. More pain for the Dane here as he gets going now. The Ferrari down to 22nd place. That's still remarkably 5 places higher than where the 14 car started.
Yeah. And the checkered flag is out here at Interlagos, and it waits for Josh Thompson. Absolutely flawless victory for him. Thompson wins by 8 seconds over what should be Ben Palmer, and this is very close between Harrod and Freitas to the line. The Ferrari just about gets there. 2 very quick cars in a straight line there. And Underhill does get ahead of McFarlane, and that is a great bit of defensive driving by Simon Underhill in the last 2 or 3 laps. Close one, photograph finish there between Horder and Steve Burke, I think, 1/100th of a second there. And Burke just gets that one. Horder did well to finish 18th actually after his spinning.
After his running at the centre S, yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this then. This is the 4 GT. Can it somehow keep this BMW behind him? It's going to be close.
He's got damage as Dennis Melcher. It's going to be close. I think he's just about going to get there though.
Oh, yeah, just managed to keep Kevin Bolland at arm's length by 200ths of a second as sliding into the first corner there goes the Mercedes of Simon Field, I believe, in the Boosted Motorsport Cup.
I'm pretty sure that Dennis has won a race in this series with this car. But it was maybe all the way back in about season 3 or season 4 maybe. I don't know if anybody remembers or can correct me on that one, but has tasted the bubbly with it before. The bubbly is going to be heading to the Isle of Man, Adam, after this one.
Oh, definitely. It might have happened in race 1 if it wasn't for Thompson's spin at uncharacteristic spin at Juncal, but nonetheless, he is the winner in this second race. And let's hope the reverse grid gives us a bigger spin this time so that we can see a bit of a different order at the front, because it is, as in the case of race 1, pretty much the same old faces, but nothing wrong with that if you're of a SimSports Racing USA or TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport persuasion. Race results then. Yeah.
I was just going to say that was a great midfield battle going on all the way through that race. It was really enjoyable.
Josh Thompson wins then. Ben Palmer 12 places to finish in P2, replicating his result from race 1. Mark Fletcher completing the podium for Mercedes. Then Mike Gray finishing in 4th place for XVR Sim Racing, highest Pro-Am driver in the field. Oscar Mangan coming back through the field to finish in P5 after winning the opening race of the day. Miguel Freitas in 6th, 7th for Peter Harrod, then 8th Simon Underhill, 9th Ross McFarlane, and 9th Ross McFarlane, and 10th Lewis Bibby. Barry Baird finished where he started in 11th, 12th for Michael Evdoka, 13th George McClay. Then we've got a trio of Pro-Am cars in Bunn, Gregory and McCauley. Steve Burke, the highest Pro-Am driver, in 17th. Mike Horder, despite the damage that we saw on the exit of the Senna S, he comes home in P18. Christian Rose, 19th, and then 20th for John Roberts. 21st for Craig Jones. I went blank for a second. Then Nick Madsen, John Aegis, then Adam Hedgecock, 24th, Ash Beard, 25th. Jake Blackhall, we don't know what happened to him, but he finished 26th. 27th for Mark Woodhouse, Lars van Rijn in 28th. 29th for Matt Dracos in the Team Lizard Motorsport car. And then 30th for Dennis Melchert in his Ford. 31st, Kevin Bollen, then Carl Jacquelet in 32nd. 33rd, Simon Field, then Dean Timms, Andy Shield, Chaz Dracott, and then Noel Crofer, Chris Daines and Chris Coughlin, both together, 38th and 39th. Michael Blake in 40th. Not the best second race of the day there for the Team Mad car. 41st, Rich Warmingham. 42nd for Morgan Butler. And then Ethan Bass, 43rd, and Fraser Smith, as we mentioned earlier, not taking the start in this one.
All right, thanks very much, Adam. So it's over to Sam for the reverse grid wheel for the second time tonight.
Yep, the wheel's on the screen right now, and let's see, hopefully we get a little bit bigger reverse this time around. I mean, not that we were sort of action in that race anyways, but still. Well, it's gonna be a little bit bigger. It is 21.
So 21 is going to be Craig Jones, the AM driver, who's going to go on to pole position for this one. John Roberts is going to be second, Christian Rose third, Mike Horder in fourth, and Stephen Burke in fifth. So 2 pretty small reverse grids. It's definitely favouring the championship contenders in the pro category at least, but we'll see how everyone gets on at the other side of the commercial break then when we return here on the iRacing eSports Network.
inside wall.
He's gonna pass nearly 3 cars down that front straightaway, and he's gonna get them all done with. What amazing!
Race lead to the inside goes Logan Cloudman is gonna touch in. Pit press. Sideways. What a save!
Look to the outside as Kroenke goes off. De Jong into second place.
Going for the switchback. Oh, pinpoint driving.
It's howling down to the inside.
I trying, there's contact though.
Slide left of the racetrack. Chris Venner drives it back down underneath, and he takes that second spot right back. Joker goes to Garrett Lowe.
Garrett Lowe should take victory with all that contact.
He's going to try and make the move around the outside the parabolica. That's not going to work, but he's going to try and get the cut back here. Get the run out the parabolica. That's beautifully done there. Michael Schumacher, there's a little bit of door banging as well.
skies have darkened and the clouds have set in here over the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache in Brazil as the World GT Championship continues on the iRacing eSports network. Andrew Woodhouse, Adam Bath and Sam Kumar here bringing you the action on behalf of Apex Racing TV. And Adam, well, it's another fairly small reverse grid. So it's really been fought out by a lot of the championship contenders in the pro category, isn't it, tonight?
Yeah, race 1 we only had about 15 cars reversed for race 2, and then after the last race we had only about 20 reversed for race 3. So any of the guys in the midfield, if they want to get anywhere near the front, they're going to have to start doing some overtaking, because the reverse grid gods aren't on their side today. Is at least on my screen, we're getting a fantastic glimpse of Red Sky and Night Shepherd's delight here as we get set for the final race of the day.
Yeah, they're definitely in a sweet spot for the lighting, that's for sure. And the cars, the drivers are going to have to deal with slightly colder track temperatures, most likely, and maybe changing light conditions as well. There it is, 21 degrees air temperature, 22 degrees on the circuit itself. 7:40 p.m. we're starting this one, so could be fairly dark by the time this race finishes. But that's just going to add another element. It's an all-Ferrari front row. Craig Jones in the AM category and John Roberts in the Pro-Am category. Christian Rose is the highest placed pro driver in 3rd. Mike Horder in 4th ahead of Steve Burke, with Dan McCauley in 6th. Ben Gregory 7th, Matt Bunt 8th, George McClay 9th and Michael Evdoka in 10th. Barry Bird is 11th ahead of Lewis Bibby. And it's Ross McFarlane in 13th, 14th for Simon Underhill, 15th for Pete Harrod, Miguel Freitas in 16th, Oscar Mangan race 1 winner in 17th, Mike Gray in 18th, 19th for Mark Fletcher, 20th Ben Palmer, 21st is Josh Thompson, 22nd for Nick Madsen, 23rd John Aegis, Adam Hedgecock in 24th, 25th place for Ash Beard, 26th Mark Woodhouse, then Lars Van Ryn in 27th, Matt Draycott in 28th, Dennis Melcher 29th, 30th for Kevin Bolland and 31st for Carl Jacquelet. Simon Field 32nd ahead of Dean Timms. Andy Shield, pro driver, need to fight his way through the field from 34th. Chaz Draycott in 35th, Niall Crowther in 36th. And going down to the back of the field then 37th for Chris Danes. Chris Coughlin in 38th, Ethan Bass 39th, Michael Blake 40th, 41st, Richard Warmingham 42nd. For I don't know, I can't see, it's gone. Never mind. But at the back of the grid, there are other people as well.
Yeah, starting at the back is Morgan Butler in 43rd, so we've lost one. We've lost one for this one. At least Fraser Smith's starting this one. Right, looking forward to this then. So we've got a mix of Pro-Am and AMs all in the top 10 really. 3 pros in the top 10. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Pro-Ams, and then we've got 2 AMs. So this is going to be interesting to see how they all take the start and whether these guys can keep the pro drivers at bay when we get going here. So get set for a pretty interesting 20 minutes.
That's from Craig Jones for SCC Racing. He's going to be bringing us to the green flag for the final time tonight here at a gloomy Interlagos. Let's see then what is going to transpire in race 3. 20 more minutes of action in the World GT Championship with Pure Sim. There we go then, the red lights are on. Look at the fanning out. They're 5 wide there, look. Is Jones going to get there into turn 1 first? Oh, he's going to be swamped by Rose and Roberts. Oh, crash. And they've spun the road, and Jones has been spun around. There's a contact in the second corner as well, and that's Underhill, I think, off. All sorts of carnage there, Adam. Mike Gray's off as well.
Gray involved, Draycott, Van Ryn, Craig Jones.
Oh, huge crash! Huge crash on the back straight. And it's happening again.
Right, we're throwing a safety car, lads. This is a big one.
Safety car's got to come out there. The track is blocked. There's a car on its roof. I don't know what. Oh, who's that on his roof there? Is that Woodhouse?
Might have been Dean Timms, I'm not too sure. Oh, dear me. Well, that was... I did not expect that.
Well, that was a huge accident there in the... Look, we need to take a look at all parts of that incident. Christian Rose leads from John Roberts and Matt Bunn, but here's what happened in terms of the...
Oh, this is
the formation lap.
Oh,
Going into turn one then,
yeah.
It looked like a few cars just kind of checked up a little bit. And Jones at the front gets sandwiched, doesn't he? There, look.
Oh,
He gets turned sideways. There's cars spinning at the back. I think Andy Shield might be involved in that one.
now, a lot of that for me just looked like pure cold tyres. What I'm more intrigued to see is what on earth happened on the back straight, because we just cut to it when there were cars everywhere.
I'm not even sure who it was. That's how big the accident was. I didn't honestly see.
It looked like one of the Brittech cars that started it. Not started it, but it was the first one that I saw. He started it. It looked like, for me, it could have been...
I thought I saw maybe...
Try Ethan Bass, Sam, I reckon. If
I thought I saw Warmingham in that, was he as well? It looked like Warmingham might have got taken out in that. Here we go then. Oh yeah, you're right. Ethan Bass right in the centre, look. And it's just a convergence there with the BMW. Oh my. And just look how Woodhouse sliding around on his roof, look.
Huh.
He tried to right the car, but yeah, nothing he could do, and he remained on his side. He's sliding along like a hockey puck. In the end, wasn't the flying V that he'd imagined, I'm sure. Now Rose leads the way, and it was important for Rose, wasn't it, Adam, to get in front in turn one, because one, he avoided the carnage, and two, it meant that when the yellow flag came out, then he's now the one who can dictate the pace when the safety car comes in.
Now we do have the option. I'd have to get the rule book to see if we're allowed to do this, of doing double file restarts, but
is that wise, considering what's just happened? We'll have to see what that is the case, but hey, if you want to have a quick look through, we've still got a lap to go.
it's probably something that's not in there. But to be fair,
But what sensational first lap, really. And it's happened a lot at Brazil, hasn't it, in the past? There was that apocalyptic crash in the BSRTC here in 2015 or 16. I can't exactly remember which one it
2015,
it was, but it was where Pete Newman got quarter panel just coming off the runoff area, and absolutely all hell broke loose. I think a few people ended up in orbit there.
now this is very advantageous for all of our guys in the top 10 from the pro. For the pro and the pro-am category, both our am drivers seem to have disappeared in all of that. Because of course, when we get going again, as the lights are out on the safety car now, we'll have only what, about 13-14 minutes to go. So
Yeah.
if that. So
is Jones still in the race then? After starting from pole?
no.
He got spun off at turn one, but then did he get... Oh yeah, big damage, look. Big damage on the SCC Racing Ferrari, and there he sits. Forlornly. And I don't think that one's going to be repaired in time for him to get back out. Who else is in the pits then? Who else is out of the race, Adam? I think you're going to have a better view of that than myself. I've got Jones, Horder, Freitas, Woodhouse, Shield, Bolland, Butler, Timms, Coughlin and Bass, is that right?
Yeah, we've got about 11 cars out.
Yeah, it's about spot on then, isn't it?
What do you reckon? Was I know the conditions have changed drastically from what we had in race 2. Cold tyres playing a factor in that going into the first corner? Cold brakes maybe too?
It's possible, isn't it? But I think as well it might be that that, 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 any sort of disparity in speed of the top drivers maybe at the front, but I'd have to almost have a look at the start again at some point, but I feel like, Adam, it was a cause of people checking up at the green flag. And maybe not wanting to risk getting a penalty, of course, for an illegal overtake. That caused, like I say, there was a 5-wide situation, which then turned into a 3-wide situation in the front 3 with Rose, Roberts, and Jones. Jones ended up getting spun round, or spinning himself round, depending. I don't know. I didn't see. Couldn't really determine if there was any fault to be laid there, but yeah, it was just a bit messy. Then the back straight one, we've seen that happen many times. It can happen where where people just get stuck together, and unfortunately, a place like the Retro-Aposta where the barriers are close, you can see some almighty ones. Now the lights are off on the safety car, so we're going to be racing again here momentarily. Christian Rose is going to control the pace here. Is he going to back it down at all, or is he just going to maintain the speed? It's not a terrible idea to maintain speed to the start-finish line here, Adam, because you can't really overtake. It means that you're unlikely to get overtaken into turn 1, but also it means that if you don't time the jump correctly, you could be a bit of a sitting duck.
See what they do. He's going to accelerate away now. Christian Rose, and here we go. Green lights are on and we're back going again.
Really nice start by Rose there. Beautiful start. Roberts defends from Bunn then into turn 1. Somebody flying up the inside in the background. Who was that coming in like an absolute... I don't know what, really. Somebody absolutely flying in at full speed. Oh, off! Spinner!
Oh, that's Barry Baird.
And another spinner at the back. It's oh, no, not again! My goodness! Well, and that's John Roberts. I think that's John Roberts who was lying at the front 3.
Yeah, the boosted yeah.
Is that that's a Brittech car as well, isn't it? In the background. My God, I'm not sure. I'm quite sure what happened, but that's the same, pretty much identical restarts. You know what they say in the middle of America, don't you? Gaussians breed Gaussians. Looks like that's what we've had. Mangan! Oh, Mangan nearly spin. Oh, that's Thompson. Thompson has spun. Or has been spun. One way or the other.
Yeah, no idea what. Oh,
there goes Gray. Oh, this is a mess. What's happened? Oh, dear. Well, I was saying another one. That's in Magulo.
I look like one of the Lizard cars. That is one of the Lizard cars. It's Matt Dracott who's slithered his way off the circuit. Something looks broken.
Oh, and he slithered off again. Yeah, it's broken. It's broken. Sorry, Lando, but that one's broken. 3 wide. 3 wide between Warmingham. Up the inside flies the Mercedes, and there's another car going slowly. There's a Sim Sport Racing car going slowly. And that is it's a CQR car, sorry, it's 47. Who's 47? 41 might be Dan McCauley. Sorry,
it's not even as if it's cold outside. It's 22 degrees here.
Yeah, it's cold tyres-ish, isn't it? But I don't know. Genuinely do not know.
Got a
safety car. I wonder if some of the drivers just didn't warm up the tyres properly in the safety car period. Or the brakes, maybe. And this is a great battle here. 2 by 2. Oh! That's Blake. And that's Evdoka forcing his way through on Michael Blake. And McCauley and Warmingham just behind. And here comes Beard. Beard having a look up the inside. He's having to yield because he doesn't want to get involved in that. How many cars are still running in this?
We have got 28.
28 still running out of the...
Oh, off!
Oh, Blake!
Now...
he's going to find it difficult to get back on. in good shape. Ah, he does. It's well done. Oscar Mangan sets the fastest lap in 3rd position. And here's Macaulay again. Versus Warmingham this time. Macaulay on the outside in the Merc. Warmingham in the BMW.
Onto the back straight they go, and Macaulay should get a decent exit here to try and apply the pressure on Warmingham. He wants that place back. Can he try and get it done into Interlagos with front end damage to that Mercedes? It's not totally gone according to plan there, but the BMW
wide.
Dips the wheel into the grass.
Yeah, and he just needs to be careful. He's just done some hard work there, Warmingham, but doesn't want to give it away. At the front, it's a 1.3 second lead for Christian Rose over Matt Bunn, who's an admin on this. No wonder he's doing so well. About 3/4 of a second ahead of Oscar Mangan. That's going to be a battle very, very soon. Mangan's just set the fastest lap. The Irishman looks like he's on the prowl.
4 tenths quicker on that last lap.
Yeah, he's closing in on the BMW.
Let's see what the lap times are this time as they come across the line. Let's see. Christian Rose does a 1:32.1, 1:32.6 for Matt Bunn, 31.7 for Oscar Mangan. That is 4 tenths of a second quicker than the race leader, and the best part of a second quicker than Matt Bunn in second. So in second place. So he's going to be on their cases in no time at all. The question is, though, will he be able to bridge the what is currently nearly a 3-second gap between himself and the leader as the fight for 4th is on?
Harrod.
Oh, yeah.
Harrod looking, well, it's the fight for 5th. That's Harrod looking to get past Gregory. Matt Bunn leads the Pro-Am category, and Carl Jacquelet leads the Am category. But the top 10 goes Rose, Audi, Bunn, BMW, Mangan, McLaren, McLean, Mercedes, Gregory, Mercedes, Harrod, McLaren, Madsen, Ferrari, Fletcher, Mercedes, Palmer, McLaren, and McFarlane, Mercedes. That rounds out the top 10. So a lot of different manufacturers. Every manufacturer apart from the Ford represented. Sadly, the Ford is out in the hands of Dennis Melcher. And we always do our customary Dennis Melcher watch if he is driving that Ford GT, because it is, you know, maybe the hamster died and they couldn't find a replacement. I don't know, to get the engine going.
Onto the front straight we go. Here comes Pete Harrod then. The McLaren is definitely the flavour of the month, well, at least at this race meeting anyway. It won race 1. It was equally as good in race 2, and it's flying through the field here in race 3 as Harrod dispatches Gregory to move up into 5th place.
Well, this is a fond track for McLaren, of course, in Formula One as well. It's the scene of their last ever victory at the moment.
Yeah, Brazil 2012.
Sorry, their most recent victory. Sorry, not the last ever. Well, we hope it's not the last ever, but 2012, Jenson Button coming through on a day of elements and crashes and
drama,
surprises and all sorts.
Yeah. Championship fight as well.
Championship fight, which is also dramatic. The best season of motor racing, I think. I think anybody's ever likely to see. I don't know if we'll ever see one like that again. In Formula One or in most of the series, and this is a great battle now for Pete.
He was a man in a hurry.
Yeah, he just set another fastest sector on that last lap, another purple. That was sector 5, and we've said that before. If you set a fastest sector 5, it's usually because you have the slipstream. That indicates, well, it tells you what you can see there with your own eyes, is that he's right behind Matt Bunn. It's only 0.3 of a second. How aggressive is Mangan going to be? He's the drive for Apex Racing UK as well. But he might not need to be that aggressive, Adam. He might just seize the 2nd place.
There was a real twitch there from the BMW going into Junkow, and that's all that Oscar Mangan needed. Like a rat up a drain pipe, he's now through into 2nd place, and now has got, what, 5 minutes to close that 3.5 second gap. It's going to be tough because obviously Rose is lapping quicker than Matt Bunn, but if anyone can do it, he can, and that's, what, a 90-second lap? He's got about 4 laps to do it.
As McLaren spits fire from the back, out of the exhaust ports there. Really magnificent car. but one that's been out in the wilderness in GT3 competition in iRacing really over the past couple of years. Matt Bunn driving very smoothly, very nicely. He needs to focus on trying to keep the bubbly. He needs to keep his third place intact because he's only 3/4 of a second ahead of George McClay of Renvale Fitztime Motorsport. And there he is, look, the red car. Look at the carbon discs glowing at them in the darkness. And it is now pretty much fully dark here now.
Yeah, what time is it? It's
about 8 o'clock.
Indeed it is, yeah, it's just gone 8:05 in Brazil here. And I tell you what, well, we've been covering races together for what, 6 years, and the amount that iRacing's come on in that period in terms of the visuals.
Oh yeah, day to night transition and better looking headlights and reflective car liveries now we've got.
Damage model.
Yeah, which should surely be coming soon to these cars, which would have made a crash like we saw earlier on even more monumental than it actually was.
Problem for, speaking of crash, John Aegis, something has happened to the Maltese, and he's got going again, but now he's down in 21st place. He was off for a little bit, there was John, but car doesn't look too damaged, and the privateer is carrying on his way now with the possibility of still getting some decent points on the board. Look at this. This is Ferrari versus Mercedes.
Yeah, speaking of decent points. Oh, look at that by Madsen. Scythed in front of Fletcher there. Fletcher's almost turning into the... he's almost taking up the mantle from Dave Baker, isn't he, though, of the consistent driver in the series. Really, he always shows good pace, but I think he's thinking long game in this title race.
Decent move, as you said, through the middle.
Oh! You know, nearly, just as I talk about inconsistency, he nearly runs into him. He must be listening to us.
Now then.
Carl Jacquelet, by the way, doing a great job in 12th place. He's gained 19 places from where he started for year one racing.
Christian Rose also crosses the line with, I'd say, bang on 90 seconds to go. And the gap between he and Oscar Mangan is 2.3 seconds as Mangan puts in another fastest lap of the race. 0.6 of a second quicker than Rose on that previous lap.
Yeah, and but look at the battle.
Oh. Now, Matt Bunn's bubbly is at stake. Oh, it's on the line, I should say.
It is indeed, the bubbly. But, oh my
Nearly had Shirley Suttle on our hands there.
Yeah. Yes, even brought diagrams to the press conference. As here's McClay and Harrod then fighting with all the worth. You can see the fire coming out of the McLaren from the blimp, from the chopper. It was a sensational camera shot. Christian Rose has got.
Oh,
I don't know. I think this is going to be the. It's going to be close to the final lap. I don't know.
He crossed it with a line to spare on the previous tour, but Matt Bunn's car looks like it's on all sorts. As here comes Christian Rose. We were wrong in the first race.
We're going to have to be ready, but I think he's got one more to go. He's going to get one more lap in, Adam. Surely. 56, 7, 8, 9, he's crossed. So there is going to be one more. It's whether he wanted the one more or not, but he's only lost a 10th on that lap. We're going to be 3 wide here. Oh! Well, I tell you what, Harrod, he's going for all the marbles there.
He
nearly lost them.
He took a ball.
Oh, Bunn! Oh,
Something's
he nearly loses it. He flashes the lights. I think he was probably just pressing things, bashing the steering wheel and trying to do something to save it. But coming through is Ben Gregory. Ben Gregory's going to get 4th off him.
Yeah, this is the Pro-Am fight that we're now, the fight for the Pro-Am lead.
It's not even Harrod. It's not even Harrod, it's Gregory. McClay's now in position of the champagne.
Matt Bunn's car is literally it's skating about all over the place. It's almost as if he's got no grip as he goes through the final few corners.
Yeah, he's driving around on ball bearings, isn't he? Almost. It looks like. Yeah, it looks like he's got no tyres left. But then saying that, the car in front doesn't look like he's got a lot of grip either. George McClay. Oh, overlap. Harrod sends it. Oh, he makes it through. Just about, does he? Magulo, side by side. Just going to look at Young Cow, and then we have to look at the race winner. It's going to be Christian Rose. Oh, we'll have to come back to that later. Christian Rose is going to flash the lights in glee as he wins here at Interlagos. Oscar Mangan in second place. Brilliant drive from him coming through the field. And then what's going to happen here over the line? It's going to be so close between Bunn and Harrod. It's going to be the McLaren who just gets it on the line. But George McClay gets P3. Brilliant drive by him. Gregory in fourth. Harrod in fifth. Matt Bunn, P6 in the end. He's going to be gutted with the final lap or two, but still a good drive indeed. Madsen, highest place Ferrari in seventh. Fletcher, Palmer, McFarlane. And look at Carl Jacquelet, who wins the AM category only by 2 seconds in the end over Lars van Rijn.
Oh goodness me, what a crazy race that was. It started off with 2 wrecks and then the safety car, and then more craziness, more chaos, and then after that we had a thrilling fight of cars fighting their way through the field and everything really.
Yeah, unbelievable, Adam. It was such an interesting race to watch and exciting and chaotic. That's what it's all about. That's what the World GT Championship's all about. That's what iRacing's all about. You never quite know what's going to happen.
Yeah. You almost could do with the full beam on here. Here comes Fraser Smith in the dead of night, coming back across the line to finish in P29, and he is the last classified finisher with count them, the best part of 15
retirements at least.
14 retirements, yeah.
Fraser Smith did start the race and he did finish the race, so fair play to him. But yeah, for the final time tonight, then, if you take us through the finishing order in this astonishing race.
Christian Rose briefly doing some donuts, but yeah, you're right, he does win the race. Oscar Mangan finishing in second, George McClay third for Scotland, then Ben Gregory fourth, Pete Harrod fifth, gaining 10 places, then Matt Bunn in sixth, seventh for Nick Madsen, gaining 15 places to finish there. Mark Fletcher 8th, 11 gained, 11 gained also for Ben Palmer in 9th, and 10th for Ross McFarlane, 11th for Lewis Bibby, Michael Abdoka in 12th, 13th place, 28 places gained for Rich Warmingham. He probably admit as well, a lot of them were dodging the mayhem at the start, but still 28 places gained is a phenomenal achievement there. Simon Underhill, in comparison, he finished where he started in 14th. Simon Field, at the start of the evening, he was lagging behind the whole field on the pace lap. He finishes 15th after gaining 17 spots. Then Dan McCauley, 16th, 17th for Ash Beard, P18 for John Aegis, 19th for Carl Jacquelet, and 20th for Lars van Rijn. 21st for Michael Blake, 19 places gained. 22nd for Barry Baird, then Chaz Draycott 23rd, then John Roberts, Mike Gray in 25th. He was one of the first cars that we saw off at the start of that one. Then 26th for Matt Draycott, 27th for Niall Crofer, his teammate. Steve Burke, another Team Lizard car in 28th. And then Fraser Smith in 29th. Time for the retirees then. Dennis Melchert in his Ford. Chris Daines in the Britsec Sim Sport car. Josh Thompson was off on the restart. Adam Hedgecock out. Mark Woodhouse in the Team Ads car. Andy Shields McLaren in the Sim Sports Racing USA team. Craig Jones for SCC Racing. Morgan Butler in the CQR P&M car. Mike Horder, he picked up some damage in race 2 and he picked up even more damage here in race 3 as the track has been enveloped by darkness now. But Miguel Freitas, 39th, Kevin Bolland, 40th, Team Timms, 41st, Chris Coughlin in 42nd, and Ethan Bass, he was the car that we saw in the middle of the circuit, with not very much anybody else could do to avoid him. I tell you what, if the race started now, we probably would have had even more cars involved, because we can barely see in front of us here as it is 3:15 on a, what in Brazil and on the iRacing sim is a autumnal evening.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of exhausted from that race. It was a great race, and yeah, absolute darkness now. It looks like. Yeah, not a lot of artificial light around this Interlagos circuit. So don't let your eyes fool you. It's not, we haven't black screened. I'll take you back to the start of the race and the chaos that unfolded. And we're gonna speak with the race winner, Adam. So the race winner is going to join us in the commentary box, Christian Rose.
Oh well, Christian, well done.
Thanks very much. That was very unexpected.
Well, I think we're about to see you probably saw in your mirror and probably on your relative as well what happened on the first start and then on the restart as well. You had probably the best view of anybody because you had no one in front of you.
Yeah, I got a really good start on the initial race start. Managed to take the lead into one, which was really good. That's what I hoped to do. And yeah, then I just saw a load of cars disappear off my relatives. I saw that I had a nice big gap, and I thought, right, let's crack on. And then the safety car came out, and I was like, oh no, here we go. But yeah, then the restart was really, really tough. I took it easy because I thought tyres could be cold here. So I got onto my teammate and said, look, be careful. And I think a lot of people found it tough. It was really difficult those first 2 laps after the restart.
Yeah, you have us to blame for that.
Yes.
We saw the first wreck and then saw the one on the back straight, and then through the safety car. We were debating whether to do double file restarts, but we decided against that in the end. But a track like Interlagos, is it one where you almost have to plan your restart a bit more than any of the other tracks, because you can either really back the field up and go on the exit of Junção, or just wait until the lights go green?
I thought the shorter run people have, probably the better for me. Doesn't give people as much chance to slipstream up behind me. So leave it fairly as late as possible, but try and leave a little bit of surprise.
And you were able to build enough of a gap by the time that when Oscar got into second, he wasn't able to close you down before the race finished.
Yeah, I'm glad the race ended when it did. I think 1 or 2 more laps and Oscar would have made that very difficult for me. He was super quick all evening, and props to him. Fantastic.
If you'd maybe slowed down a little bit, you might have just managed to have done a lap fewer. I think you crossed it bang on the 20-minute mark.
I did see that, and I thought, oh Christ, here we go, 1 more lap. But it was so dark at the end as well. I was really, really struggling to see. But also the dash on the Audi was really bright, so it was super difficult to try and pick out your braking markers in the.
Well, you only lost half a second on that last lap, so you must have navigated it well. But yeah, was it so the headlights, were they not working that well then around here at the end?
It was very bizarre because it was absolutely pitch black, and you could see just about where the headlights were shining. But I was really struggling iRacing VR, and the dash on the Audi was really bright. I'm not sure why, but that's something that I need to factor in for future racing.
It's just glaring right in your face.
Well, hopefully that's all sorted for if we go to another night race at a circuit next week, which is when I'm trying to quickly find the calendar for you. We are next off to Silverstone for an enduro around there. For an hour and 45-minute race. Is that something you prefer to these quick 20-minute sprint races that we've got here today?
It definitely changes the style of racing, that's for sure. These sprint rounds are short, sharp, get your moves done quickly as possible, but safely, of course. Whereas in the enduros, you can be a bit more patient and work with your strategy. Taking a different strategy sometimes pays off, sometimes it doesn't. So Silverstone's a fun circuit. I really enjoy driving it. Hopefully the Audi goes well there.
Great, well done on the win today, Christian. Before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
yeah, just a very quick shout out to everyone within CQR. Again, some really top performances from everyone tonight. To all the league admins, all the sponsors, and yourselves for the broadcasters. Thank you very much.
Well done on the win today, and we'll hopefully speak to you again next week, Christian. Thanks for coming and talking to us.
Thanks very much. Take care.
All right, well, congratulations to Christian Rose. Now we'll bring in another chap who also got it done today in his category. Carl Jacquelet joins us in the booth. Carl, can you hear me?
I can. Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening. So, take us. You gained a lot of places in that race. You gained about 12 places by the looks of it here. How did you get through the first couple of laps?
Just being aware, looking ahead, seeing what's going on, trying to avoid everything. And I seem to do quite a good job of that. Unfortunately, I did manage to spin it on the penultimate lap and dropped it out of 12, so a bit disappointed with that, but it was still a very good result.
Yeah, brilliant result. And year one racing coming into this series. How's the season been for you so far in terms of trying to get up to the pace of this league?
It was a very steep learning curve at first. The first race, I felt the car was driving me. Second race, I got a bit of a hang of it and was actually able to push rather than hanging on. And this new tyre model seems to suit my style of driving, so I'm very happy indeed.
For those who aren't aware, are there any changes in particular that have been made? What are the changes that have been made to the tyre then that are noticeable for yourself?
I've noticed I've had to back off the camber a bit and pay a lot of attention to the diff. But the tyres need they need a little bit of looking after during the race. It's very easy to overheat them, and of course at the beginning it's somewhat slippery. It's going to be interesting with the longer races on tyre stops, because it takes 2 or 3 laps to get up to temperature.
Yeah, we noticed that a lot of people seem to be struggling after the safety car restart. But we see that you're trying quite hard to warm up your tyres and brakes. But I think some people just underestimated how bad that was going to be.
I think they probably did. The first race I had tonight was an absolute disaster. I got wiped out by someone coming on track. So I spent, I think it was 6 minutes sat in the pits. So I had a good experience of going out on cold tyres. So I knew you had to get a bit of warmth in them.
Yeah, and then the darkness set in, of course, later on. And Christian was saying that it was quite hard to see by the end. Was that the same for yourself?
It was very difficult. I think that's why I dropped it on the penultimate lap. I just couldn't see the apex.
Yeah, because we noticed you lost a few seconds there.
Yeah, and I've got a red light in the room as well, so...
Oh. So that matched the sunset at the start, and then of course once the sun had gone in fully, then that was just your permanent hue in the room. Yeah.
After a race a few years ago that went from light to dark, and I had a bright light in the room, I've decided to put a voice-controlled light in so I can call for the light to dim and change colour.
And you've got a blue light in the cockpit as well, or a purple light or something.
Is there? I haven't noticed.
Yeah, shining on the. Oh, we're just seeing you avoided the crashes on the restart. I think you may have clipped one of them, but.
Oh, it was a little touch, yeah.
Oh. Yeah, it looked a bit hairy from where we were sitting, but congratulations anyway. Good win in the category. Just give a shout out to your sponsors and team and whoever you like. Really give the thanks to.
Yeah, it's a big shout out to Graham and the whole of Year One Racing. It's the place to go for your custom flip-flops.
And there you go. Perfect. Well, nice and short and sweet, mate. Thank you very much. But thanks for joining us in the commentary box, and we'll catch you hopefully down the road.
Yeah, I hope so.
Right, thanks very much. Enjoy your win. Cheers. Right then, I think that's all we've got time for here tonight on the iRacing eSports Network. Thank you very much, everybody, for watching tonight. It's been a great night's racing at Interlagos. Adam, we said at the start it doesn't it doesn't disappoint Interlagos, and we had that again tonight.
Well, we had all elements really. We had the quality of the passing, some of the overtakes into Cenares and into Sila de Lago were absolutely on the money. And then, of course, we had the usual frills and spills in terms of the crashes, for example, at the start of race 3. So it's delivered in all elements here. And next week, we changed the style of racing, as Christian Rose was saying to us, when we head to Silverstone for our 1 hour and 45-minute enduro race. Looking forward to that around the Grand Prix circuit there.
Yeah, always nice to be racing in Great Britain. And we'll see you next week for that. So from all of us here, from Andrew Woodhouse, from Adam Bath, and from Sam Kumo on the cameras, it's good night from the World GT Championship. It's good night from the iRacing eSports Network. We'll see you next time.